Hi lovely people, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. If this is your first time, kindly help us by hitting on that red icon to subscribe. Also touch the notification bell to be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now today's class we shall be looking at how to make a free A-line dress. Okay, so first thing is to fold our fabric into four. This dress won't be having a zip at the back, rather it will be having a button. So for that to be folding our fabric into four equal parts. Okay, all right, so here I'll be starting my measurement from this part. Okay, so the first thing is to take the length of the dress, and the length of the dress you're working with is 40 inches. I added extra 2 inches for seam for hem and for to hem the down part of the dress. Okay, then from the shoulder line we'll mark our half length, which is 17 inches. Then we'll mark our hip measurements. From the waistline to the hip line is 9 inches. Okay, all right. So the next thing to do is to take our shoulder measurement. So the shoulder I'm working with is 18 inches. Is 16 inches into 2 to make it 8 inches. So from here I will mark my 8 inches, then I'll add extra half inch for the joining of the sleeve. So I'll mark 8.5 inches, and I'll mark 3 inches for our shoulder slope. And at that 8.5, we come down by 1 inch, then we connect it to the shoulder slope. Okay, all right. Then next thing is to mark our armhole measurement, and the armhole we are working with is 18 inches into 2 to give us 9 inches. Okay, so either you measure from this upper part, then you take 10 inches because half 1 inch will be taken away for the shoulder slope, or you come down to that 1 inch and take your 9 inches. Okay, so I just mark my 9 inches. So here I'll mark my 8.5, then I'll connect it with a straight line. And I'll connect the 3 inches to the 1 inch for the shoulder slope. So here I will make a straight line here to where I'll be taking the bust line measurement. Okay, the bust I'm working with is 43 inches into 4 to give us 10.75. Okay, you know the shoulder measurement we divided it into 2, the armhole into 2, but the waist, the bust, the waist and the hip line is into 4. Okay, all right. So here, when you divide your bust measurement by 4, whatever thing you have, you place the measurement. So here 43 into 4 to give us 10.75. I'll add extra 1 inch for ease and 1.5 for seam allowance. At the waistline, I have 37 inches for the waist into 4 to give us 9.25. So I'll mark my 9.25. And at the waistline, I'll add extra 1.5 inch for ease, and I'll add 1.5 for seam allowance. The hip I'm working with is 45 inches into 4 to give us 11.25. So I'll mark my 11.25. Then I'll add extra 1.5 for ease and 1.5 for seam allowance. Okay. So coming to the down part, we'll take what we have at the hip line, which is 11.25 plus extra 3 inches to make it 14.25. So when we mark this 14.25, then what we have here left is 2 inches. So I'll be making use of all this. I just did this so that you will know the actual measurement that I used. Okay, so like for me, I will just, from the waistline, I will just connect it down to this part, but I just did it step by step so that you will understand it well. Okay, all right, so I'll just go ahead now to connect this. I'll just go ahead to find the midpoint of our armhole line to get our armhole curve. Okay, here we have 4.5 as the midpoint. Then coming here, I'll come out by ½ inch or 0.75. Either one can serve. Okay, I'll just connect this. Then I will also connect this one. Okay, so this one now is the front part, then this is for the back part. Okay, so here we'll take our neckline measurement. So I'll be using 3 inches here for the neck width, and for the neck depth I will use 1.5 inches for the back, and I will use 4 inches for the front. I'll just connect it to those 3 inches. Okay, I'll go ahead now to cut out this. So this is the front part, so I'll just go ahead now to cut out this and this. Okay, so when after cutting out the back one, just separate it from the front, okay, before you cut out the armhole for the front and the neckline. Now this, okay, so recall that we said we are going to be fixing the button at the back. Okay, so I'll go ahead now to make my open stitch, my slit here where I'll be putting the button. So I'll be using a slit of 4 inches. Okay, I'm using slit of 4 inches. We have taken away 1.5, so altogether is 5.5. Okay, so I can extend it to 4.5 inches. Right? Okay, no, let's just leave it for the 4 inches. I think 4 inches is better. Okay, so I'll just go ahead now to open here straight. I'll just make a sharp slit there. I just want to insert only one button, so that's why I just stopped at that 4 inches. So was button will now be here, so I'll just go ahead and cut out a lining for this, both the front and the back. Okay, for the sleeve, looking at the picture, you will notice that the picture has a flare sleeve, okay, but the flare is not that full. Okay, so what we have to do is to calculate the both armhole, and you know that one armhole is 18 inches. Okay, all right, so what we have to do now is to join the two together. Okay, that is 18 plus 18, which is the 2, will give us 36 inches. So that 36 inches now we'll divide it by 6.28. Okay, then when we divide it, we'll be giving us 5.7. Okay, so what I will do now is to cut out my flare. Okay, then I will divide it into 2 for the 2 sleeve. Hope is very clear. Just calculate the 2 armhole together. If you have 16, that means you plus it by 2 and divide by 6.28 to get your circumference. Okay, so we have 5.7. Okay, but I'll be using 5.7. Then you now add it up to what you want the length of the sleeve to be. Okay, so I want to use 5.5. Okay, I want to make use of 5.5. Okay, so here I will mark this my 5.7 all through. I'll just connect it like this. So then the next thing to do is to now mark the length of our sleeve. So I'll be making use of 5.5. 5 inches is okay. I'll just use that half inch to do my let me complete it to 6 inches, so that when I tape the down, will not be cutting a lining for the sleeve. I'll just use my bias to tape the mouth. Okay, so for the taping and for the joining to the shoulder, that's why I'll say let me make it 6 inches. Okay, so that after everything I'll be having 5 inches. So I'll just connect this 6 inches round. So I'll go ahead now and cut this out. Okay, so this is what we have. So I'll just go ahead and open up I'll use one for each sleeve. I'll use one for each sleeve. Okay, so if you want a fuller circle sleeve, you just leave it without making any opening. All right, so I'll just go ahead and use my bias to tape out this mouth. Okay, just tape out the down part, not here, because I'll be attaching here to the shoulder. Then cut my lining and line my dress. Okay, I've also cut out a pocket for it. Okay. Okay, so this is it. I'll fix up the hand, as you can see. So I'll just go ahead now and fix my button. Yeah, just fix my button here. That will be all. So thank you so much for watching till the end, till we meet in my next class. Bye.